We're live! Hey
Well,
everybody! I'm Tamara, and I'm here with my friends Amy and Burgess, and we are talking about Camp NaNo. And I am going to tweet out the link and all that good stuff so that other people can see us instead of just us.
so far, I just wanna, while Tamara's doing that, wanna tell everybody about us.
Sure.
Okay.
About all of us, or just
Oh, you can do it about yourself. You should know the finer details of myself as well, but.
my name is Burgess Taylor, and I am a writer, a blogger, and semi-artist, semi-photographer, and a coffee addict. I am a huge NaNoWriMo, Camp NaNoWriMo enthusiast, and actually a bit of a procrastinator lately. Yeah, I can't even, I said later instead of lately.
Okay, well, I'm Amy Tasakata. I write books, mostly LGBT Japanese mafia novels, so I get to make everything horribly bloody and violent and stuff for everybody. So that's always fun to do. And I really like hot tea. I'm not a coffee person, but that's okay. People can drink coffee. That just means there's more tea for me. Ooh, tea. Yay. And remember, if you guys want to chat with us, you need to use the hashtag #WriteStuff on Twitter. YouTube makes it really strange, so be a bird and tweet away.
Tweet, tweet, tweet! And I'm Tamara. This month is National Poetry Month, which is kind of my thing. My first poetry collection, The Shaping of an Angry Black Woman, is available on Amazon. And currently I'm writing a mainstream fiction novel set in West Virginia, which is where I'm from, about a woman who is coming to terms with her past. It's very messed up past. And yeah, so that's what's going on. For Camp NaNo, I'm writing the rough draft for the second book in this trilogy, but I'm also editing the first book because I'm hoping that I'll be able to get out the first book soon so that you guys can read it if you're interested. And yeah, but I thought that it would be best to kind of work on them at the same time so that there wouldn't be a lot of lag time in between them because I'm going to self-publish.
Yeah, you gotta create that funnel.
Yeah.
I'm here, so go do this now as well. So, oh, and then my Camp NaNo project is basically editing stuff. So I'm editing my first Bone Lobster book, and it's fun since it's mostly I'm getting to like the 95% done part, and it's really nice because everything's already really pretty and nice. I just gotta make like polish it.
Whoop whoop.
Yay! I am finishing up the project that I started in November for NaNoWriMo, and it's book one in a series about hereditary witches from the South, and I'm really enjoying it because it's like a cross between paranormal. It's got a tiny bit of romance, but mostly it's sort of suspense, a little bit of suspense, but I guess very paranormal. That whole genre thing really makes me because it's like a combination of a number of things.
Genres can be really weird and confusing, and I think sometimes they get a little bit too specific. So that's why I'm kind of going with mainstream fiction. There's probably going to be some little different elements, but as a whole, it's just a fiction story. It's not really a genre story.
Mine's more just paranormal contemporary, I guess.
Are you in your books? Do either of you have any romantic elements in there?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
I do.
Yay.
There's gonna be sex in my book, but not necessarily romance.
Mm. That just makes me sad. Like, oh, she deserves so much more than that.
Right now,
It happens,
I haven't
but...
gotten to the sex part yet. I just have tension in mind. There's a lot of tension going on, and I don't have any sex yet. My sex is going to come towards the end.
So you might start out with it, and then they develop love afterwards.
I'm building up to that. Right now, it's just foreplay.
I don't know. My character moves kind of fast. She's not really concerned with foreplay. She's like end goal. She doesn't need the in between part. She just wants to get from A to zipper. That's her trajectory.
Oh my.
I know.
I guess I have one character like that, and the other one's like, I'm supposed to be a hermit because I did a horrible thing. So I'm never supposed to be with anybody ever again. And I like those types in novels, I've realized.
So dramatic.
Dramatic. Yeah.
I did a thing. Oh.
I'm broken forever. I can never repay for what I did. I must suffer forever as punishment.
So tragic.
I love them. Love those.
I'm gonna leave the. I don't know if I can leave the actual link for the Google Hangout and the NaNoWriMo group on Facebook. I guess I will. We could delete it if this is inappropriate.
Actually, I think you should probably tag it with the hashtag. Sometimes it shows up in different places, but it'll definitely show up in their tweet for Camp NaNoWriMo. A bunch of people are doing word sprints for Camp NaNoWriMo right now on the actual tweet for Camp NaNoWriMo.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
I like the little video clips they had.
I think Stephanie has saw us, and so has Jasmine, who is talking about how she's working on poetry. So she's writing a book about poetry, and Tamara, you should give her pointers about that since you are a poet.
Just do it. Write your heart. Don't be afraid. Open yourself up. Be vulnerable. Don't stop yourself because it feels weird or uncomfortable.
Sometimes I just like to think, like, push it. Like this might seem uncomfortable, but just go and add the extra violence or something. I write thrillers, so it's all about the violence.
With my poetry, it's all very personal, even when I'm not writing about myself. So it's like I have to open myself up to being vulnerable. And that's scary to do, but it feels good after it happens, and if it works. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't feel as good, but still. You can't get there if you don't try, you know? I don't think I'd be able to do poetry with, like, a context like the camps and stuff. I think it would be, for me, it would be, like, too much pressure. My poetry has to be, like, free-flowing, and, oh my God, it's just happening. It's very hippie, 1960s, flowing, free.
I wrote poetry every day for a long time, up until a few years ago, but probably because I was in a 10-year relationship that wasn't very happy. And it was really easy for me to write the poetry when I was miserable, when I was in that dark place. I had stacks and stacks of poetry. And when I relationship and got happy, now I write a poem like once every 6 months. And I don't write it very much anymore. But then again, during that 10, 15, 20-year mark, I wasn't really writing fiction. So I took a long break from writing any kind of fiction, even short stories, and was writing poetry. And I also took a long break from art. And I think some of my creativity was stuck in other areas, and poetry was the only way I could get my creativity out. And I was a really good poet. I was published in our college magazine and stuff, but now, like I said, I write one every now and again, but it's easy for me to write it in a dark place, when I'm miserable or unhappy or depressed, but it's very hard for me to write it otherwise. Like, I've written a few poems for my husband for like Valentine's Day, huggy, touchy, mushy, lovey-dovey kind of, but those are a little bit easier to write, but I don't want to write that stuff all the time either, any more than I really want to write the darker,
My friend Laura A. Lord, she started, she writes, she's so prolific. She has like 4 or 5 poetry books, and she never tells you when she's writing one. It's like all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, Tamara, I'm publishing this book," and I'm like, "Oh, well, when are you starting?" She's like, "No, it's like getting published in like 3 weeks." What? When did you write it? But what she's done with her latest book is she's talking more about the town that she lives in. So she's written poems in terms of her town and the people who live there, as opposed to just about herself. And I think that personally with me, I'm going to have to do that for the next one. Like, take a look at the world or community or something outside of myself, because like you, I write a lot of stuff when I'm sad or have like really strong emotions about something, but I've been pretty content for the last year or so I haven't been writing as much poetry, so I think I have to change things up. Let's see.
The closest I come to writing a bit of poetry was, for the novel I'm writing, there's actually like a prophecy. And I wrote the prophecy, and it's rhyming. It's actually got that rhythm thing going on. And I would read it, but it's super, super raw right now. There's like 2 lines that majorly need to be changed, but I'll read like the first few lines. I'm not going to read the end because that's the part that sucks. But when the second sets together, wrong will be put right. When the old is seen through second sight, at the dawn of the birth year, forgotten ones will appear. Betrayal meets death when she loses her breath, and when she sees with sight, all shall come to fight. And after that, there's another part. But see, there's a couple of words, and I'm like, it's not, but it's the raw, rough draft of that prophecy, and eventually it will get done, and I'll be able to put it in my book.
Very cool.
But that was fun for me. It's a long time since I wrote rhyming poetry. Like, most of mine is free verse with a few words here or there that rhyme or something. But it's been a very long time since I wrote that kind. Since college, when they're making you do sonnets and shit.
So Jasmine asked me, is there a certain amount of poems that I need to put in, if any, since I'm writing a poetry book? If you're writing a chapbook, which is a smaller poetry book, those usually have around 30 poems, and then for like a full-length poetry book, there's usually 50 or more. So I hope that helps. But I really think that all that stuff's kind of subjective, like how you want it to look like, what you want to do. If you have any ideas of what kind of poetry you're going to be writing, and if there's any poets that write stuff that's kind of like yours, then you should check out their books and see how they have them arranged and how many poems they have in their books and stuff. to kind of get a better idea. Yeah. If you have any other questions, you guys send them out at #WriteStuff. What is going on out there? I swear, it's like it was so quiet up until this thing started working. And now it's like, I don't know, it sounds like someone sprang down a house.
Well, should we talk about how our camps are going so far? These 13 days of writing and camping.
Yeah. You want to start?
Oh, me? Okay. Sure. I think last time I talked about how I was worried that I would nap, and that has happened. But I actually arranged the chapters. Since I'm editing, I ranked the chapters 1 through 5, and somehow I got some zeros in there because I thought they were horrible and they didn't deserve a 1. And so I ranked them in order that way, and I fixed the worst chapters first. So some of those I'm a little bit behind because I'm like, I can fix 2 really horrible chapters in 1 day, and that did not happen. So I think I'm technically like 3 or 4 days behind where I goal-wise want to be, but I can do it because now I'm going from like the zeros and the 1s and the 2 chapters to the 3 chapters, which are just like, oh, that's okay. So it doesn't take me as long to fix those. So I have time to go back and edit the 0 chapters. I think one of the interesting things I did was, your ending has to be super good. So I was just really terrified about editing the ending. So for the past week, I printed it out, and I've been working on very tiny little scenes at a time. So I would just break it down into smaller sections. So it might have taken me a week to get through the horrible climax that I hated reading and writing, but it was actually really nice to finally get it done after like a week of toiling away at like 3 paragraphs a day. So, oot. So I'm confident in finishing.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Burgess, you want to tell us how your Camp NaNo is going?
I have 21,050 words. I have yet again not put it into Camp NaNoWriMo forum. But I'm at, so far, so that puts my book, I'm at like 63,000 total for the novel. So I'm actually doing planned. I'm a little bit over my word count, and we're not to the half mark yet, so not bad. If I complete my 40,000 words for Camp NaNoWriMo, I should have a little bit over 100,000 words for my novel, and that should pretty much be like the end, except, there's all this editing and revising and rewriting stuff. But so far, I'm happy with it.
Excellent. I am currently at 17,481 word count. This novel, I started the rough draft at kind of like the tail end of NaNoWriMo last year in November, and I'm redoing all that stuff right now, and mostly what I'm writing is kind of new, because I've mentioned before, that draft that I was working on kind of diverged from what I wanted and went to a very strange place and didn't make sense. So I blame that entirely on sleep deprivation. So that's why I did an outline this time. Very, very, very loose outline, but outline nonetheless. And my project goal for camp is 30,000. So I'm ahead of schedule, but I haven't actually written on this for the past 4 days. Instead, I've been editing the first book, but that's why after this broadcast, I want to do a live write-in, so if either of you want to stay with me and be along for that journey, that's cool, but I need to get some words down, definitely. So, what has been the one thing that has kind of helped you along this month? Because it sounds like we're all doing pretty well with our goals. So what's been helping you?
Awesome. That's why.
Awesome. Check.
What? What did she say?
She said we're awesome.
And that's why. That's why we're doing
That's
so.
right.
First, you got to get awesome, and then you're able to write.
Actually, on the front of that, it says, awesomely amazing.
Cool.
That's the writing bullet journal, and it actually says awesomely amazing. I did that because, you know, you have that whole self-doubt, fear, procrastination thing, self-confidence that eats at you sometimes as a writer, as a creative person in general. And there are days when, no matter what I write, and it could actually be really good, I feel like it sucks. I feel like it's just trash, and the whole thing needs to be burned, just, And then I have to remind myself, you know, that's the fear either of success or failure. I'm talking, not, you know, the writer. It's not me. It's just that.
So you've been working on like having the positive mindset to get through it.
I've been changing my whole thought process for a lot of this, and that's the artist way. A lot of that has to do with working through the reasons why I feel so much self-doubt, getting the negativity out in the morning pages, so that the rest of my time is spent on positive stuff, and a lot of different things. Like the procrastinating, I think, comes from fear. What we call writer's block is mostly fear, along with some, you know, Netflix problems. But that's, I've been trying to work on all of those things that are keeping me from writing. But whatever it is that's blocking me from writing, whether it's, you know, like the fear or the procrastination, the distractions, that kind of stuff, I've been trying to get rid of that stuff so that I can continuously better my actual writing routine so I can finish this damn thing.
I think something that was helpful to me is I made this little calendar. I don't know if you can see it. So every time I do a day, I take off the day to kind of help me stay organized since I am behind. So you can see that I'm 4 days behind. So I kept a daily goal plan and leave some flexible, like Fridays I have off. So I plotted out my overly organization of when I write, like must be done with everything. Super plotting and organizing.
You're really good at it, and that works for you.
It does.
Would not work for me.
That wouldn't work for me either. But I admire the fact that you can actually do that. I was talking to Christina Yother. She is a writer, and she does like RightTube videos and BookTube videos, and we were both talking about like distractions and how we get so distracted and how we just wish that we had that kind of mentality that could just keep us focused and make a plan and stick to the plan and do the thing. So I'm in awe of anyone who could do that. Do the thing.
I thought that was funny. How you said how you just put a note. How you put a note to yourself to add to scenes, and I like freaked out. Like you wrote your story and you just put a note about how you need to add 2 scenes, but you didn't say what those scenes were. It still freaks me out thinking about it. Like how can you just put 2 scenes randomly there and just say write 2 scenes here and like go on to the next part? It's impossible. You did this impossible thing.
Yeah. Good.
Post-it notes are wonderful.
I wish I wouldn't have done that to myself, though. I wish I would have said, and these are the scenes I'm thinking about, teacher Tamara, so you can write that in. I was just like, write 2 scenes, and next chapter. That wasn't a good idea. I think that what has helped me to kind of get through this month has really been like talking to all of you guys and talking to everybody about writing and stuff. I think I've been doing that more this month, even though I haven't been posting more videos about it. I've just been chatting more about it. So that's been good. And doing the super loose outline has helped me a lot, even though it's not that detailed. It's just helped me to like have a kind of a track in the road to follow. And I don't know, I've just been in a mood to write as a lot. You know, and I think that helps, just feeling that I want to write this story. This feels good.
I think surrounding yourself by people who are writing kind of gives you that culture mentality, like, oh, everybody's writing, so I should be writing too, because it's the cool thing. All the two cool kids are doing it.
If you guys have any questions or comments, please send them out to #WriteStuff on the Twitters so that we can talk to you. Let's see, Jasmine says that she has a good amount of poems for a full-length book, so good. And she says, she asked, do I know which publishing house is best for beginner poets, and any publishing advice? Sadly, I don't have any publishing advice. I went with a small publisher, Secure Publishing, for my first collection, and I haven't really looked into other publishing houses. I haven't been working too much on publishing poetry at this moment. So, sorry.
But don't you guys have that Reverie journal? That would be nice. Maybe not to publish, but to get like one poem across to get your name out there.
That is true. Amy is way better at promoting me than I am. I'm a mess. So yes, I do have the Reverie Journal, and we are going to be putting out our second anthology at the end of this year, and we are looking for people to submit poetry to us. So you can look up more information at thereveriejournal.com. So there's that. But like I said, if you have any questions or comments, #WriteStuff. Send them out to us.
General publishing advice, I think I read Write, Publish, Repeat, and I really liked that book. I thought it had really awesome advice, so I would recommend that for anybody, not just poets, who are interested in publishing.
That's one of the books on my I want list.
What was it called again?
Write, Publish, Repeat. It's by the self-publishing podcast people. They have a name. I don't remember it. It's white with a pencil on it. So just write, and then publish, and then repeat, because that's what you got to do.
Okay, and I just posted Write, Publish, Repeat as a tweet in case anyone else was looking for it, the name.
That's good. Yay.
So what are you guys' plans for this next half of Camp NaNoWriMo? How do you plan to hit your goals?
Writing every day, whether it's 100 words or 2,000 words, I'm writing every day.
I had to mute my microphone because there's an airplane flying above. But my plan is really just to keep writing. I've been doing word crawls with a few friends, so and those are really fun, and they help me to boost my word count. So on the NaNoWriMo site, you can, where is it? I think there's a section that has like word crawls and word sprints and other things like that, and you can look up different crawls, which are basically like an activity writing
Mini
sheet.
adventures.
So, and there's all kinds of different adventures. There's library crawl and Harry Potter, and they all have like different themes, and they're just fun to do. and they're more like challenges to get you to write more stuff, but they're fun. And yeah, so I've been doing those. So I'm going to keep doing those and actually try to write daily and not and not miss 4 days in a row. My hope is to actually finish this rough draft, at least this first rendition of the draft, by the end of next month. So
You can do it.
If you're editing, doesn't that count towards your word count? I mean, isn't there like some kind of thing where you figure out however much the editing is such and such amount of words written?
you can do that, but I didn't want to combine the two projects because my editing is sporadic, kind of. Because I don't like editing, and I've made no bones about it. I don't enjoy editing, so I try to do it when I really feel it, and then I do a lot of it. But when I don't feel it, then I may not edit for days. So.
Well, see, you look like you were having fun outside at that picnic area thing that you were doing when you were editing.
Yeah,
you were there.
That was a good day. I think I was at it for 4 hours. I was editing, but that's what I mean. Like, if on a good day, I will edit for hours, but on a bad day, I will not look at this blue notebook.
I don't know, so for my second half, my editing, I'm doing a bunch of like writerly activities. So next week on Monday and Wednesday, I have my writing group meeting where I bring the very good chapter I was happy with editing, and I have to read it in front of like a dozen people, and they're all going to critique me, and I'm going to be horrified, so I'm going to do that. Then I have my writers conference, so I'm kind of staying in front of the writery atmosphere, and hopefully that encourages me, because I see people writing and I get encouragement to finish it, and I'm ready, and I'm also turning it into my editor at May 2nd, so I have like, oh, this is your last chance. That horrible seeds is going to stay horrible at this point.
I'm sure it's not horrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I'm doing a writers' conference this month. On the.
Because you're doing it at the same time I am at a different place.
Is it next week? Oh my God,
week.
it's next week. I am so on top of things, you guys. You don't even know. Here's my problem. I didn't write it on my board. That's my problem.
Yeah,
This is how
if you haven't gone to a writer conference, I highly recommend them. They are, I want to say, a little bit pricey, but I think I learned much more at a writer conference than I have anywhere else. And you get that atmosphere of people, and you trade cards, and it's like a card collecting game almost with business cards.
I've been to one writers conference, and that was in West Virginia. So this is going to be my first one here in this state, and it had like a lot of what sounds like really cool people lined up to give talks and stuff. And it's going to be a 2-day event with the National Women's Pen Organization, and I'm not sure if PEN stands for something, but I'm still new, so I'm still learning how all this works. And this...
I've never been to a writer conference.
You've never been to one?
They're awesome. You should go.
You're in South Carolina? So I'm sure there has to be some writers' conferences that happen.
I am 2 hours away from Charleston, an hour, give or take, away from Columbia, which is actually the capital. But there's probably more stuff going on in Charleston than anywhere else. But, I haven't been to a writers' conference. Not since I was in high school. I went to a journalism conference for writing. Which was a very long time ago. But I am checking into a writer retreat that Sarah Crawford is going to be, she's going to be hosting one of the workshops. It's in right outside of Atlanta. It's in Marietta, Georgia, the beginning of June for a weekend. It's at a cabin, and so hopefully the very beginning of May, if all the slots aren't booked, which is when I should have the money for the conference, I am going to actually be paying for it, and I'm going to go. I mean, hopefully, if everything goes well. If something on a car doesn't break or something like that and cause, like, you know.
Knock on all the wood.
All the wood. My desk is real wood. I'm knocking.
I did see her link about that in the
awesome.
Right Stuff group. It looks really cool. I will actually...
Yoga and meditation and writing and poetry and all this good stuff.
That sounds awesome.
But you know what? If I go to that, there's no way I can afford to go to West Virginia for Stephen King signing stuff.
Aww.
But then you get your book out, and then you can get more money, so you can go to the next Stephen King event. It's not like he's going to stop writing.
Right? That's what I told my husband. He said, but don't you want to? And he said, and Tamara's going to be there. I said, look, I have to choose. I said, seeing Stephen King isn't going to help my writing. Getting him to sign a book isn't going to help my writing. Going to a writing retreat will help my writing. If I want to get help from Stephen King, I'll read on writing. And I'm like, I don't know how long I'd have to stand in line. I said, the only real big benefit to going to see Stephen King sign it and get him to sign a book is seeing Tamara and getting him to sign a book. I said, I get to meet Tamara live and get to meet Stephen King. Hello. I said, or I can go to a writing conference and meet Sarah and improve my writing and maybe eventually get this shit published and get the thing done.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I totally support you going to the conference. But if something happens and you can't go to the conference, then come see Stephen King and let's meet up. Yay!
That's right.
But yeah, I'm totally behind it. I totally understand.
Like I said, if at the beginning, if the first or second week of May, right before, because you have to have the money paid by the 28th. Mm-hmm. So if I can get it paid by the time and get the slot, if the slot is open, I can get it paid, then I'll be going. If there's no slot or we don't have the money for whatever reason, because it's $185 for the 2 days, because I won't be flying. I can drive to Marietta, Georgia. And so that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, hey, hello. But yeah, that was a hard thing to choose, man. Stephen King and Tamara, or a writing retreat and Sarah.
Our names rhyme.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just tweeted out the link for Sarah's retreat. If anyone's interested in learning more about it, look under the hashtag Write Stuff.
Just don't take my slot. Just don't take my slot.
That's really exciting.
Yeah,
I think that might be a good way to lead towards going to a conference, because from what I understand, when Maya was talking about her conference and stuff, you go there with like some of your work ready, like a certain amount of work already ready, and that makes me very nervous because I've never been to any of those things. It's been like I graduated from high school in 1985, so since I actually wrote fiction, it's been that long since I put real work in front of anybody else's eyes other than family members and very close friends. So that, and I have anxiety anyway, so it just makes me super nervous that if I were to go to a conference before doing anything else, where like with a writer's group or something, that I could, get my foot in the door.
I know some of them vary. Like mine, they have like the select workshops that you have to sign up for, which are very like you bring your work and you have these people critique you and you do that there. But then there's also the majority of the workshops, or at least with the DFW Con, is mostly just sitting there and listening to somebody talk. But they're talking about something you care about. So, and trading cards. I think every conference is different with exactly how they're set up. So you don't necessarily have to have stuff written to present. That's something you'd have to check for a conference.
see, now you have me like, I wonder. So I'm looking at the website to see. I'll have to. There's like a lot of stuff happening that weekend, so I'm gonna have to actually look through all this later.
Are you going to be in West Virginia for like a whole month?
I'm gonna be in West Virginia from May 15th until July the 6th, I think. So
you could go to the retreat.
I
You'd be
That's some sports issues, except for the Stephen King one.
I can't afford to go to the retreat. I would go to the retreat, but it's gonna like kill our wallet for both of us to go back to West Virginia. So
Hawaii is so out of the way.
no, it's a bummer that way. But it's beautiful here.
All those beaches.
Every time you show
Sunshine.
video footage of stuff in Hawaii, I'm like, oh, I want to go. It's so beautiful.
It's kind of wild because I'm really a house person. Like I stay inside a lot, so I'll be inside forever, and then I go outside, and I'm like, oh yeah, I live in Hawaii. If anyone's interested in seeing more about the writers' conference that I'm going to, I'm sending out the link under the Right Stuff hash at the moment.
Oh. I guess I should be good and do it for the one I'm going to as well, if you're in the Texas area. I think actually towards the end of the month it actually stops so you can buy tickets, but it's good for next year. They also have a writer's workshop, and I'm just advertising for them. At the last Saturday of every month, there's a free sign up. You could do it through their website or Facebook, where you get together and you have someone talk. It's kind of like a mini conference, but it's only for one topic. I went last time, and they talked about how to give pitches for the writing session, and I think the last Saturday of the month they're doing a before you hit send or before you hit publish, so kind of like the last things you need to fix before you send out your manuscript to an agent or you hit publish, so the last things you need to make sure you get right.
Very cool. Oh my god, it's hot. Look at my lion's mane. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please send them to #WriteStuff so we can check them out and respond to you the best of our abilities. So let's see. So we've talked about some of our goals with our Camp NaNo stuff and how we've been doing well. Well, what have been some roadblocks that you've faced this month, if you've faced any? I'll start. With me, my biggest roadblock is always myself, and just getting myself motivated and getting my butt in the chair. And occasionally I have difficulties with my laptop. So it's like technical difficulties in myself.
Hey, Burgess, you can go next.
Okay. Myself, I'm probably my own worst enemy. I got rid of some of the computer problems right before Camp NaNo started. I made it a point in March to get all the stuff done with the computer maintenance and stuff like that. And but one of the things I think that's been the roughest for me this year for camp is just getting my ass in the chair and writing and not fiddling with everything else, with YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff, or watching Netflix. And once I take a short break, I'm okay, but if I take a longer break, it either helps or hinders. It's like there's like this happy medium somewhere in between that works best. Anything else is just hazardous to my writing.
Oh my gosh, social media. It's like it's a death trap for your writing productivity. You know, you're like, oh, I'll just check Facebook for a second or Twitter. You know, I'll just tumble for a minute. I'll just watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos.
That's my
just
thing.
1 or 2,
Yeah.
and then 5 hours later, what the hell happened? I'm tired. Oh no, I haven't written anything. So easy. So easy to fall into that
It's time
trap.
for a nap.
Yeah.
After watching Netflix, I'm ready to nap, and then I get up, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll write when I get up.
For me, that's been it too. I've been really tired this past month, so when I come home from work, I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep, and then I go to sleep, and it's really nice because you're sleeping, you're like, I don't care, I'm sleeping, that's fine. I'm like, I could just do this writing later, and I'm not too far behind because I think I would freak out if I was. You're like, no, this is impossible. I can't be behind. That's not the kind of person I am. But I did what is it? I joined this online coaching group, which I'm really, really happy with. We're very serious because everybody will post 10,000 words a week, and you have to read 2 people and then be a beta reader for someone. So I'm reading 20, possibly 20,000 words a week. So when I look at my email, usually it's someone commenting on my stuff, and then so I have to break it up. So in a way, because I'm checking my email, and that's usually the first thing I check, and it's someone complaining about my story, then I'm like, oh, I need to go fix this right away. I forgot to put a comment here or something. So that's helped me. So maybe surround your social media with writing things, and you'll be guilted into doing it.
Healthy guilt.
I think some social media is helpful. Tuesday night, last night's Write Stuff was very helpful. Everybody talking about some of the stuff, and I thought it was very helpful. I got out of that, and I started writing, and it inspired me to get to work. And like I said, I think some social media, especially if you have to do some social stuff in order to brand yourself for marketing and stuff like that as a writer, you're gonna have to. But you have to draw the line because there's a difference between reading a bunch of tweets that have nothing to do with writing or watching a bunch of YouTube videos that have nothing to do with what if you're doing something for research or whatever. But I go off on a tangent. I'll start doing for one thing, and then I ended up with 25 other things that had nothing to do with what I got on the social media originally.
Yes. I think we could all attest to that one. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to look up stuff about giraffes. And then all of a sudden, you are looking at things about space and the time continuum and and what happened last night on that one show. Like, oh, man.
Trying to find spoilers for the other show.
Oh my god. I think that what I've been trying to do, I have been spending a lot less time on Facebook. Facebook is a huge time suck for me. And it is just because it's a way for me to connect with so many people. So there's so many people on Facebook that I want to chat with. And so I look up, and I've been chatting and sharing videos and learning about new ways to craft things that I'm never going to craft and cook things I'm never going to cook, and 3 hours later I have watched all the videos and read all these interesting posts about everything, and I haven't written a damn word. So now at least in the beginning of my day, I really limit how much time I spend on Facebook. Because if I start my day with Facebook, it doesn't work out for me. But it's good, though, because I know my problems. So you have to be self-aware.
This past week, I have gotten up, started coffee, done my morning pages. After my morning pages, I went and took a shower, and then I get on, I check my email real quick, 15 minutes. If it's anything important, then cool. If not, I go. That's it. Then I go to my writing, and if I write for 30 minutes or an hour, that's cool. I stop. I take a break, and that's when I spend like 30 minutes or an hour checking out all the comments on YouTube and the comments on Facebook and that kind of stuff, and Twitter. And then I give myself the amount of time to do that, and then I'm going back to the writing. And then if I've written for 30 minutes to an hour, then I can go back to the Facebook and the Twitter and the YouTube. But I'm trying to break it up so that, one, I'm not sitting in the chair writing for long periods of time. And two, I'm not doing social media for long periods of time, because I make myself, as soon as I start writing, as soon as that time period's over, I get up and I go do something in the house, and then I can, do some social media. Otherwise, the dishes don't get done, the writing doesn't get done, and I watched like 15 YouTube videos and was on Facebook for an hour.
Amy, there is a question for you on the Twitter.
Oh, she doesn't care. And then they put, oops, never mind. I live in Dallas, the big one. So there's actually a faction of the Korean mob in Dallas, random fact, that I learned while discovering stuff about the mob. So that's why we have such yummy Korean food everywhere. FYI. People in Dallas.
Very cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of writers groups here. There's the DFW writing workshop, which is really intense. They meet every Wednesday. I do the Writers Guild of Texas because they only meet once a month, and it's closer to me, and I enjoy that very much that it's close, because I don't like driving, especially at night when these things are, and on a weekday, which is even worse. And I'm sure there's like, we have the romantic writers group is here. We have a mystery writers group that's in there. We have tons of writers groups. So if you're in the Dallas area, you can totally find a writers group that fits you.
I'm so jealous. Here, there's just a couple of writers groups. There's this one that's called the Coolest Writing Group, and they meet at the beginning of the month generally, but I think next month we're going to be meeting the second Wednesday of the month, or Thursday, but usually it's the first week. And with that one, it's a critique group. So you bring in 5 pages and of your current work, and I think you bring maybe 10 copies of it or so, and then everyone kind of reads through, gives their critique, and your job is to take it in and not really say a lot of stuff, not really argue about it or anything, just take your notes, listen in, and if someone doesn't, if like something someone says really bothers you or doesn't agree with you, just let it go. Let it go. So yeah, I'm gonna go to that next month. I'll still be here, I think. Let me look. Yeah, because that'll be like the 11th or the 12th, so I'll still be here because I wanna bring in for chapter 1 and get feedback, see what other people think.
In my writing group, I brought like the first chapter like 2 times, and then I brought the last chapter. I'm like, you guys don't get anything in the middle. my middle's fine. Middle's fine.
You don't need any of that.
It's fine, but it's the ending I'm concerned about in the beginning.
My middle is sloppy. Good grief.
Read a sequel, every single scene. You don't have to worry if you sure have a soggy middle.
So, what do you guys do with... Oh, go ahead, Burgess. I'm sorry.
There's supposed to be a writers group where I live, but I emailed the person that's on that writers. Southern Writers Magazine has a thing to look up, and it says like South Carolina, and then it has writer groups. Well, I looked. I emailed the person that you're supposed to email. Never got a response back, and that's the only thing I have found so far out where I live. Now, there are 2 different chapters for, like, NaNoWriMo. There's one about an hour away that way, one about an hour and 15 minutes away that way. So no matter where I go, I'm going to be driving at least an hour or more. So there's nowhere close by.
Yeah, that makes it hard. Maybe try online groups for critiques, I would say.
That's what Write Stuff is for.
Yeah, you can just swap with us and we can just comment all over it.
Yeah, I'm not really at a place yet to have beta readers. That's my goal, is after June, like in September, to have beta readers. And I figure between now and then, once I actually get to the point where I'm like really close to having it, where I've edited myself the first go round, once I've gotten past that point, you know, actually putting out a call for beta readers. But until then, there's not quite a point. So
yeah, we'll trade with you. We'll be nice. Well, I will. I can't speak for Tamara, so.
I'm super nice. I'm always worried that I don't give enough constructive criticism, like, because I don't want to just be a cheerleader, just saying, yeah, go, 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 you're doing a great job, you know. So I kind of try to give, when I'm doing a critique, just my first impression of whatever. So I think, so some of it will be things about, oh, this doesn't make sense to me, or is this going to be explained at some point? You know, that kind of thing. And then if I see stuff that that's really cool, then I tell you. Like, oh my god, I love this description.
That's what I like.
This is fine.
I
love this character.
Yeah.
This character's a jerk. I hope he dies.
That's what I want to hear when I get to see this guy bugs me. I think you give.
You need a bit of both.
Yeah. You give good, like, word, because Tamara's reading mine and I'm reading hers. She gives really awesome, like, word switching recommendations. I think we all have kind of this, like, vocabulary in our brains, which is the words we go to. Like, my character, like, sighs way too much for his own good, and that's what he's going to do. And then Tamara has, like, other things, not just for sigh, but for other words, just in general, that I don't use. And I'm like, oh, that's a perfect word that I know existed but forgot about.
Yeah, I think that's one of the good things about having a beta reader, because someone else is giving you their opinion through their eyes, and you know, you get to see things in a totally different way.
My character likes the word nodded.
He
or she nodded.
Yeah.
Yeah. My character does a lot of nodding.
It's I think I noticed it because my main character is called Now, so it's like Now Nodded, and there's like 2 N's, so I am like, no, you can't do that. But when I was writing my second book, I realized I favor like really short names, and I put this long character's name, and his name was like Kurosawa, and I'm sitting there and I'm typing, I'm like, oh, your name's so long. Why does it have to be 7 letters? So then I sorted in like the other character who I'm talking about, like his name was Akiyama, and I'm like, no, that's too long. We're just gonna call you Aki.
Oh my gosh, that is such a first world writer problem. Like, that's hilarious.
Your name's so long, I'm gonna shorten it.
Oh, this typing is 7 characters. That's hilarious. I noticed that one of my characters sneered a lot. I was like, do people really sneer this much, Tamara? I don't really think they do.
I think it depends on who they're talking to.
According to my daughter, there are some of us who roll our eyes a lot, and thus the grandson rolls his eyes now a lot. So I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe I should include that. I should give one of my characters a, oh, will they roll their eyes? You know, lift the brow and roll the eye or something. Because I do it, and I don't even realize I do it, and I'm a very expressive person, and I want you to know my little 3.5-year-old grandson rolls his eyes. Yes. The first time I caught him really doing it at me or at his mom, I was like, what? She's like, Mom, he does that all the the time. We got it from you.
Wait, so
Like,
this
I
is
don't roll
something
my eyes that
that'll
way.
help us out. This is the emotion thesaurus. I don't know. This is like one of the best writing books. I keep it. I think Burgess has it too. But you can look up an emotion like this one is anticipation, and supposedly people with anticipation have sweaty palms. So instead of saying they're jumping up and down, you can put they had sweaty palms. So I would recommend that for anybody who's
That-
writing anything. This stays by my desk.
This is a really good
I have
Tweet
that
it.
one.
What are the names? I'll tweet them out.
The Emotion Thesaurus by Angela Ackerman. Why can't they all be Japanese names so I know how to pronounce them? I don't know about the other one.
Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisi? Puglisi. I don't know. The other one is Writer's Guide to Character Traits by Linda N. Edelstein.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name.
Yeah, those are both really good books if you're looking for things besides side and.
I'm going to give the other one to this.
Oh, the other ones with the traits, like the positive and negative traits. I have those. Those are fine.
Negative. Is it the negative? I think it's negative traits or something.
Yeah, there's a negative and a positive. I have both of them. I want to say I don't use them as much as I probably should. I probably should go back there because I'm like, this guy's a businessman. His thing is that he's into business, and I need to think of a trait for my character. I usually just give them a hobby, and I'm like, you're gonna like origami, and then that's your trait, which is not a trait, it's a hobby. So,
That's your thing.
yeah, you make origami crates just for fun. That's what you're gonna do. Random side character.
So Jasmine asks, do you ever have difficulties with writing a funny character? She's having issues on that in her YA novel.
Hmm.
There's an
I
origami
find
trait.
I think that humor is hard to convey, and I always admire people that it seems like their humor comes off really easily, but I mean, I know that they're actually working on it, but it just, when it seems effortless, then it, that's when it's actually funny and works.
Hmm.
When I tried to write something that's funny, I just tried to write something that makes me giggle. Like, I can't really, because, I can't really tell if other people are going to laugh at it or if they're going to roll their eyes or think it's cheesy. So I really just have to go for my own humor and hope that it works for other people. What about you guys? How do you handle humorous characters?
Usually I try to get like an opposite character, like I think mostly through dialogue. I had a character that was my willowy, the oh woe is me, I should lock myself in a room and never come out character, and I had this really outgoing character, so their dialogue was really snappy with each other just because it was the opposite, and I think that was helpful to kind of get someone to play off the funny character who's not as funny.
Do you have any funny characters, Burgess?
I have a very sarcastic character, and he comes off as funny sometimes instead of, he means to be sarcastic, but sometimes he comes off as funny. And then I have one character who is laid back and has a sense of, but I'm not sure if it's as funny as I think it is, but I think it's a little bit funny, so.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always wonder, how do people figure out what makes a thing funny to other people?
I think if it's more the situation, because you like comedy movies, I don't really listen to, but if the situation that the comedy is in is part of the humor, then you never lose part of that joke, because after you hear the joke once, you're like, I know the joke. But like Groundhog Day, the movie, is usually funny because it's the situation he's trapped in. So I usually try to make it situational humor and not like joke humor.
That makes sense. Situational comedy.
And it's easier to do situational humor than it is to do joke humor. At least for me, it is.
Mm. I would agree with that.
And then you don't have to worry about your...
when I'm not trying to be funny, I'm funny, and when I'm trying to be funny, it just kind of gets lost in translation.
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about people relating to the characters or relating to the joke because they're already reading the situation. So they're relating to the situation because they're there with the characters in the situation.
All right. It is 20 after the hour. Do you guys want to go for maybe another 10 minutes and then call it?
That sounds good. You guys can go write, and I can not write too bad.
This is supposed to get you inspired, Amy.
It's getting inspired to take another nap.
I'm gonna need a little bit of a break in between though, like I don't know, at least 10 minutes or something.
Oh yeah, that works for me. I need to take a bio break and to make a coffee drink.
Coffee drink. Yeah, because it's like 3 o'clock there.
Yeah, it's like 3:21 here, so I'm still good to have coffee. I had coffee last night and it was 10. Like, oh, this was such a bad idea. Like my stomach started hurting. Like, oh, now I'm never gonna be able to sleep.
It's funny because I'll talk to Tamara and I'll be talking about how like, oh, I got home and I was so tired I took a nap, but now it's so late. And she's like, oh, it's 3. I feel like, okay, I wasted my day, and you're just like, yeah, I still have the whole day in front of me. I'm like, whatever, girl.
Everything's brand new.
Yeah, so shiny. Like, forget you and your day that doesn't exist yet. You're living in the past. That's what you're doing.
I know. It's
I get up in the morning. I check things to see if she's got like a video or if there's something for right stuff or there's something like that. And then I'm like, Melissa, well, Burgess. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. She's not up. She's still sleeping. It's nighttime there.
Yeah, I try to remember to post stuff, like to schedule it to go out during other people's mornings so that I could be asleep and everyone else could read stuff. But sometimes I forget. But I try to.
I always just have it scheduled for like midnight because I'm like, whatever, people will wake up and see it.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I tried to, and mine went up anyway. Instead of the day it was supposed to, and after that I was like, you know what the hell with it, I'll just put the stuff up when I put it up. Because I did it wrong or something. I haven't gotten proficient at that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've definitely had a couple where I thought that it was going to happen and then it didn't, or it went off at a wrong time. Like, I don't know. Hopefully they'll see it. But yeah, so all 3 of us are on YouTube, in case any of you guys are wondering. Mm-hmm. And I post videos about books and writing. For Camp NaNo, I've been doing these write-ins every Wednesday, and I've been doing a weekly wrap-up that posts every Saturday, and occasionally a book video in between.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to tell about your channels?
Sure. I'll go first. So I do writing and fashion because those are my things I enjoy the most, as you can tell. Mondays I talk about whatever, which is where I talk about whatever for a minute because it's my minute Monday. So those are usually entertaining. And then Wednesday I usually talk about something with writing. I do book things now, but mostly just end of the month wrap up things. And then Friday I talk about something fashionable, which is usually mostly Japanese fashion. That's what I write about. My characters are set in Japan, so I just find it really nice. So you can look at pretty things, and everybody can admire pretty clothes.
And Burgess?
And my channel is called Burgess Taylor, and I do Coffee Chat Mondays, which is where I usually talk about like anything. Sometimes I talk about journaling, sometimes I talk about writing, sometimes I talk about the artist way, just whatever random topic seems to be on my mind, or if somebody asks me a question about something specific. On Wednesdays, it's Writer Wednesday, and I talk about writing. On Fridays, it's kind of a free-for-all, it was, but now I've actually been doing the artist way on Fridays, and then on Sundays doing my Camp NaNo wrap-up. But I do videos about writing, art journaling, different things. Like maybe I do books every now and again. Don't really do the booktube a whole lot. But I do when a book is like really big for me, a big thing. I will do a book review. And I can't talk right now.
No worries. And I'm going to have links to everyone's YouTube channels and their social media platforms of choice, so that if you want to like and follow and all that good stuff, you'll be able to do so. That'll be in the description.
You should totally do it. Very much.
And are you guys on Goodreads?
I am now. I just started. I'm on the Goodreads.
So I don't know if I follow.
I haven't the last one I've read. I've been slack this past month and last month. I've been slack, but I was doing really good in January and February.
I need to do some type of book wrap up for March. So I realized I read 21 books last month, and I read so many that I feel like I should say something about them.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily want to talk about all 21 because I think that would be a ridiculously long video. So hopefully I'll figure something out and post it next week.
Pick the top 5 or 6.
Yeah, the top ones.
Pick the top 5 or 6 books out of all of those.
I think that a lot of them were 4-star readings for me. I don't know if I had any that were 5.
Are they all on the similar topics? Maybe pick the best in that topic, like the best romance book you read and the best this one you read.
I think last month I read paranormal romance and fantasy, I think. No vampires. There was a lot of ghost stories.
I love those.
Yeah,
I was on a kick.
A ghost kick. Oh, I read a book about a ghost this month, but it was different, and I was happy because the character had like, I was thinking they're gonna get like this nice ending, and it ended up being like horrible, and I was happy.
I love it when you're miserable characters.
It did, and it left like, because I'm like, this is just going to be a lighthearted read, and then it was all like, I'm going to kill myself in X amount of days, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. I was like, this is awesome. And I'm like, I want to read the next one, even though I know they're going to get together, but in my head I could be like, they're not, and he's going to do it.
I've been on a nonfiction kick. I don't know, I'm a nonfiction kick since like the middle of March, I guess. Like right now I'm reading David Allen's Getting Things Done, and I'm finishing up The Artist Way, and I'm going to read The Right Way to Write, or I think it's The Right to Write, by Julia Cameron too. I've been reading a lot of those kind of books, like different books, productivity, creativity kind of stuff. And some of my fiction, I've read some, but a lot of what I've been reading lately has been nonfiction.
That's awesome. I need to read more nonfiction. I have been saying that I'm going to read The Artist's Way for a really long time, and I haven't dug into it yet.
And you haven't even, where are your videos? Where are you at?
I am at the chapter 1. I haven't started at all. That's why there hasn't been any videos. There's no updates. I've done nothing.
Still on chapter 1.
Still on chapter 1.
I used to read a lot more nonfiction, and then I think a few months ago, I'm like, okay, I need to start reading genre fiction. So I need to read like more thrillers and more like LGBT stuff. So I tried to get from people that are still alive. And so it was really nice because I met with my critique group. She's like, I'm a writer too. Here, you can have my book for free. And I'm like, this just came out and I'm reading it. This is awesome. It's new. I know the person. It was a cute book. There were sad moments, which I enjoyed.
All right. So is there anything else that you guys want to chat about before we wrap this up?
Maybe like a message to everybody who's still writing for ourselves or for other people for the rest of the camp.
You can do
Tamara, you're a poet.
it. Yeah, right. You can do it. Hang in there. I have her cliches right
All
now.
the things.
Drink some tea. Just make your character suffer more.
Do all the things.
Do all the things. Write all the things. Do you guys want to do a last check-in at the end of the month?
Or can we do it like in May to give us a little bit of a break? Like the May 4th? Or do you want to do it before on purpose? It's like
Well, if we do it on the 27th, that gives us next week a break.
yeah.
Let's see. I was thinking, or we could even do it on the last day of camp itself, which is Saturday.
Saturday. Oh, I'm going to a cat cafe. I have a collection meetup, so yeah. Unless you do it at night. I could do it at night, like the time you usually do it, because I'm not going to stay until 7 o'clock at the cat cafe. They'll look at me like I'm crazy.
Which works better for you, Burgess, the 27th or the 30th? So I'm open to either one.
I don't know.
You don't know. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Well, we'll let you guys know for sure.
If you check out our Facebook group, you'll totally be able to know because we'll make an event for it.
Yes.
Sneaky, sneaky.
The link to the Facebook group will be down in the video.
I'll tweet it out and I'll add it to the description. Okay, well...
Yeah, I guess it's time for us to tally ho. You guys, good luck with your writing. I'm going to not write and, yes, do my not-writer thing. I write like at 9. I'm like, it's not 9 yet. It's only 8:30. I have 30 more minutes to chill.
It's 9:32 here.
Okay,
so 8:32 your time, and I don't know what time it is your time.
3:32. It's so early.
Yeah, she has the whole day in front of her, and I'm like, I just did nothing. Actually, I think I like read 2 chapters. I need to like fix one though, because I'm like, oh, I should put it so they feel like they're being followed at the beginning of the chapter, not just at the end, because then it'll be creepier.
Okay.
It's dark outside for us at daylight.
Yeah, it's so bright over here. So weird. So, how about we adjourn for 10 minutes and then we come back and do a write-in for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that.
Okay.
Does that work?
Sounds good. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Okay. So we'll meet you guys back here in like 10 minutes, and we'll tweet out the link and everything under the hashtag write stuff. So, bye, everybody.
Are you going to do a new video?
Yeah, I'm going to do a new video because I'll have to stop the broadcast on this one. So this will automatically upload. Cool. All right. Bye.